Hello there, guys. Welcome back. This week, what we're gonna do, we're gonna continue with what I left the last time we watched, which was that just walk through, just recording that idea of with no sound for you guys. So the reason it has no sound is because it's about 2 3 hours, and it's just about me just putting together the actual block out. Now, just remember that the reason you have those videos is because I want you to watch them, and I want you to have a look and then go through them. I know there's no sound, that's fine. But if you find something that is quite interesting, something that you don't know how I did it, just get the name or show me which one it is. Make a note of which one, which a note of the time when you saw that bit that you found interesting, and you wanted to know more about, and then come to me, and then I would make sure that I can talk to you about it, and we can discuss it during the class, or we can discuss it on the one-to-one on a Friday. So, but the important thing is that you have to watch the tutorials, guys. Do not cut corners. If you cut corners, you're going to suffer because you're gonna. I mean, I got some people saying, "Oh yeah, I just there was no sound, I couldn't," and they start following on all the tutorials because I just watched the last one when you saw the character. You need to don't jump hoop. You just don't jump ahead of yourself. Just learn how to use the software, and go slowly. So it's gonna be slow at the beginning. That's normal. If you're gonna stop or something and you drop it, you say, "Well, this is not working." Just start again. That's fine until you get it. But you need to practice it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open the file where I left it, set it up everything again the way it was. And then we're gonna discuss a little bit about a few things that I did, and then the next part I'm gonna start adding few elements of in terms of like the eyelids, and perhaps I will probably do the hair. And then after that, then I'm going to introduce you to a new concept, which is the breaking down the character in three subtools, and then or three or four subtools, and then take it from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the file now. So I'm just going to do now. Okay, so I'm just going to close this. We've got my ZBrush as it is. Excuse me. So the thing I'm going to do, just remember what I told you as a quick recap, that you have ways of saving here. You have the ability to save through here, which is saving whatever you have in here in the viewport, one of them. You save it from here, you save the project. Guys, do not save with this or you will lose your document, sorry, your file. Document, what it does when you save as, it just save a screenshot of this, and then you lose your project, you lose everything. You haven't saved it. So I'm gonna say that again so I can cover my back. Do not save with this unless you just want a screen grab. If you want to get your files to work, you have to save it through here, which is a project, which is save whatever tool you have here, plus the undo, whatever setting you have in your brushes, and whatever subtool you got open in here. My recommendation is, the file can get quite bloated and big, so my recommendation is to actually use the one through here, save as. So you save only whatever you have in the viewport at that point, and it's lighter. So what I do, I'm going to load up that, and I think I got it somewhere in C drive here, and I got it here, and I got it in the files there. Just gonna scroll down here, and I got this one. I'm gonna open it. What you do is, it's in here, but it's still not there, so we have the same issue. We can keep drawing and don't wanna be able to do anything. So you just draw the last one, and then just hit edit, change this material, because I hate it, and then I'm just gonna show the floor, and then this here, you just press Control N, and then you clear it. You press F, and you frame it again, okay, and you're good to go. Okay, so I'm just going to show the geometry, and this is what I did. This is what I left it the last time. Now, what I did slightly different, what I was working there, is that I have now two subtools, and this subtool is the eyes, okay? The eyes that I have there. So I can show you how I did that and later in a minute, but for now I'm just going to hide them, and I'm just going to continue working on this, okay? And I'm just going to talk through, if you click here, you can just get rid of all this wireframe. If you don't want to see the wireframe but you want to keep the color, you just click this little button there, line, you see the line goes away, or the fill color, but it keeps the line, or you can keep both, okay, whatever you want to do. Now, as you can see here, I tried to keep the best of proportion. I am not going to do a character that is obviously based on what we talked about in class, or what you aiming to design. I'm just doing this because it is easier for me to demonstrate what you have to do, guys. I got other things going. I cannot do a whole character from scratch. We're going to try to do as much as we can, but I want you to know that I don't have, not going to be able to do the whole thing, okay? So this is just, I'm just going to reduce the brush size. This is just a matter of me just moving things around until they make sense. I wasn't following 100% something. You see, for example, now we have the issue that we had before, that if you don't have anything masked, then you do that, and you just literally just gonna start moving everything. If you don't want to do that, I'm gonna undo that, and then what you have to do is I'm gonna open this little tab here. So the brush menu is here by default. If you want to bring any brush here, with this one you just cancel them. But if you want to brush any, for example, light, you click in this little icon, you just drag and drop it, and you have it there. And you click here and drag outside, and it goes. But by default, the brush menu is normally docked on this side. So if you want to bypass the issue that you are always, if you click here, it's gonna go affect everything. There is one way to bypass that, and that's by using masking by polygroups. And it's here in this section called auto masking. You tell them masking by polygroups, and you put it all the way to 100. And what it does is whatever looks at the stamp or the brush, and whatever you click first, in this case I'm gonna go for this purple one. If you click them first, then you automatically assume that that's the one you wanna do, and then it masks everything out. So whatever you click and hold, that's the one that you're gonna be working on. Again, if I click on this one here, then you see I'm only taking this one. And I can probably minimize things here and then make it a bit more accurate if I want to. Okay, again. Just to make some subtle changes if you want to, okay? Like I said, I'm just basing it on that character from David that we talked about, but I'm not gonna base it 100%. I just want you to know how to use the tools. I'm not gonna aim at just making it like within the universe that we talked about. What is your assignment? I'm just gonna show you how to use the tool. Now, one other thing as well that I did while I was doing this is about the fingers, how I did the fingers, okay? And then the way I did the fingers was let me show you recreate here quickly so you can have a look, just to quick recap, because I think I did that when we're in silent mode, I wasn't narrating the process, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frame this here, and I'm just gonna go back to the brush that we talked about, which is this one, the one from 3D Character Workshop. You should have them all now. I gave you the file now already in the canvas. And the files as well, they're in the university. In some of the computers, guy, I told you, I gave it so you can install it. When you go to the computer university, you are going to see it in one particular computer. Just go in there and install it. Just follow the instructions that are there. So, okay, I'm going to do is I'm going to show you roughly what happened with the fingers. So I'm just gonna create something here just randomly so you can have a look. So I'm gonna insert this, thinking that that's a finger. You see, when I use the insert brushes, automatically it masks everything out. Now the insert brushes in ZBrush are something that comes as well with their own. You can see here, you press I. You can see that all the ones that are here, I start with the I, which is insert multiple mesh brush, and they already come. ZBrush come with some of them. And for example, one of the more particular ones is this one, which is part. You can actually insert parts of your character. Okay. Now, what it does is you can create this. You can choose. You can choose whatever you want. You can click here. You can see there's loads of parts. And if you want, you can add more to this by going into the once you have that into the brush, you say create. So create insert brush, or you can just edit brush. I think it's one that you say copy, insert. One of those here, you could create an insert brush and whatever. I think if you got one selected, you say create insert mesh, it automatically says, do you want to create a fresh brush, or you just want to append it to this one? So you can just choose. I can have this whole character turn into a brush if I want to, and I will turn it into a brush, and I could be inserting little man characters everywhere I want. That's not a problem. But the point is that all these brushes come, the IMM, insert multiple mesh brush, they come with ZBrush. And as well, the one that we're using at the moment is the one that we're using from the 3D Workshop Shane Olson website, okay? So you can research more into this and ask me, and I will tell you a little bit more about that. But for what you need to know now is that we're just using these brushes, and then we're just using it for doing the fingers or whatever within the whole character. So just imagine that this is one finger knuckle, and then if you want to move it when you go, you just move, and you have this gizmo that I told you about to research how to use it properly. But the basic thing is you can use this handle, and I explained that in the past tutorial, so I'm not going to go through that again. So if you want to move things around, you just click it here, and it will move it in screen space, and then you can rotate and all that. So if you want to make a copy of this, you can make a copy by pressing Control, if you press Control and hold and click, you create an extra copy automatically, you see? So you can create another copy here, and you can just rotate it, okay? And then press Control again, and you make another copy. See, and you can make things around. The good thing is that you automatically share the same color of the brush of the thing that you come in, the mesh that you're working on, and all this share with the same color, which means they're part of the same poly group. Okay, and that's how I did it. That's how I did those fingers. And then what I did to make copies, and what I did, for example, make copies of the finger. You don't want to go and do that again. So you want to take a whole finger like I did here, and then make a copy. So what I've done is I press Control, click, and drag to clear the mask. I press Control, Shift, okay, and click on the poly mesh and the poly group that you need. Click there. That's visible, right? So you press Control, click on the viewport to make it. You mask him out. Then you press Control, Shift, click to show everything else, and then you press Control, click, and drag. Sorry, Control, click, and you invert the mask. And once everything else is masked, and only this one is unmasked, then you can easily go again to the move, and then select this guy, press Control, click and drag, and you make a copy. Click and drag, and you make a copy. There are shortcuts that you can actually press one number, and you automatically make a copy like that, one after another, because you remember how much you moved it. So you can see you can create some stuff very quickly there. So I'm just gonna undo that. I don't need any of that stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna draw back here, and then in order to do, the hair, what you can do is you can use this guy, okay, and we can actually create it later. Just turn this into a subtool. Excuse me, but that will be your decision depending on what you're working on. So if you're working on something, you just have a doubt like that, just let me know during the class, and I'll give you a point of what you need to do. But I need to see you doing it. So so basically what it is, I'm gonna start. Let me. Oh, actually, I forgot to load the actual artwork, which is roughly what I'm basing. It's not gonna be 100% that. I just wanted to something for you guys to work. So I'm gonna go into texture, and I'm gonna import that texture. And that texture is this one. Okay, I'm gonna open that. And once it's in here, load up. You select it. And you set add to spotlight. And you click this button and you just scale it. I just want to have it for a reference so you can have a look here, but you don't have to. And I'm just going to put it here, fairly small, there somewhere. And I'm going to press Z to change hide the spotlight. Don't worry about the spotlight. The spotlight, we're going to go through that later on. But for now, I'm using the spotlight only to bring images into the viewport, because you can use images to sculpt and to do detail and paint. But for now, I'm going to show you it's just it's a matter of just how to have one image here. Ideally, I told you I recommend you to have the Pure Res software installed, which is free, and then you will have in another screen all your references. Okay, so you had that, but by default, the spotlight should work. If I start doing some sculpting and doing stuff, we won't be able to move it because it's taking into consideration the spotlight is on, and the spotlight takes precedence. So you want to disable the actual work, what is the spotlight is supposed to be doing. Then you have to go into here, into the brush menu, and go here into samples, and then uncheck this button called spotlight projection, and then everything should be back to work. So if you find out that you can't do anything, move, it's because this guy is on still because of the spotlight image you have here. Okay, but that's just for you for your reference. You don't need to worry much about it. I'm just gonna put it here in flat so I don't have to see anything. So so what do I do next? I'm going to do the hair, or trying to start doing the hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm probably torn between using these or using one of the spheres. If you use one of the spheres, then you have the ability to use because you see the hair is quite pointy, so you can have the ability to use these, or you can actually use a sphere and then point it out. So let's try with this. So I'm gonna do this, but I don't want to, because his hair is not gonna be symmetrical, so I'm not gonna do it like the copy on the other side, because it would be won't look right. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press X to get rid of the symmetry. You see this little button, you see the other one on the right, on the left, is the symmetry. So whatever I do in this, it happens in the other one. So if you wanna get rid of that, you can press X and get rid of the symmetry, or you can just go here into transform, and then activate symmetry. And you can see that the shortcut is X. So I'm gonna click here. You can see now that red mirror button dot on the other side is disabled for temporarily. Now, Another thing that could help as well, guys, is that if I draw this here, look what happened. It drops this stuff right on top of the geometry. You sort of understand where the position of the geometry is, and then it will draw something right on top of that. If you want to bypass that, another introducing to a new knowledge, if you want to bypass that, this is what you have to do. You have to go here into this section of the brush. The brush with everything related to brush manipulation is the majority. There's all the stuff here and stroke, that's will be the stroke, which is this guy. So if you want to manipulate that, what we want to do is we want to actually, instead of drawing this and be on top, I want this stuff to be a little bit already inside the geometry. So it's easier for me to start moving stuff around. So it will save me a little bit of time by doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here into the brush menu, and I'm going to go into depth. And you can see this little section here which tells us about the depth of whatever you draw. At the moment you can see that it's right, imagine that this is the head of the geometry, and this is what the stroke is going to happen. So the moment it's right on top, so it's happening right on top. You can see that. If you want to change that, you just move it down a little bit, just click and drag, and now it's going to be halfway there or a little bit like that. So look what happened when I draw it now. So you can see now it's inside. So that will save us a little bit of time. I think it's a bit too much, so perhaps something like that. And now I'm just going to draw, let me see what I can draw this. Let's draw this one at the back here. So I'm just going to draw it right in the middle there. Okay. So that one is right in the middle, sort of. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this shift so I can smooth it. Okay. So I can lose a little bit of the shape in there. I want to make it thinner. Okay. If I want, I can just move it down a little bit, perhaps, and then smooth it out. Okay. And then I can probably reduce this brush size, and I'm going to use this this brush called Snake Hook. So you do that, and you can see that this one is quite, it's like very nice to create things like this. So I think this guy is too. I think I'm going to have to scale it. So I'm going to go here into moves, and I'm just going to click here. Whoops, no rotation. I'm going to click on this yellow one, and I'm just going to make it bigger. And then again, do that. Then I'm going to go into move. I'm just going to move it back a little bit. Yes. Just move it there. Okay. And then now I have the option to either draw more or I just do what I did with the fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the move and I'm just going to press Control, make a copy, pressing Control, press Control, make a copy, make it smaller. Don't worry that goes inside. Don't worry that for now. Okay. I'm just going to move it in. And again, I'm going to make another copy. I press Control. And then I'm just going to Control and move back. Rotate. Move back in. Okay. Okay, just going to try something different here. Just going to smooth it out a little bit. I'm going to inflate it at the base. You can use the brush called Inflate. If you hover over that, you press I. And then there is one here called Inflate. And you can just, you see you do that, you make him inflate there. So if you want to do one back to the one before, then you have to do the same principle. You have to unmask it and then do all that. But I'm going to just copy from this one. So I'm going to take, again, move, and I'm going to press Control. I'm just going to move another copy there. This one I'm just going to rotate it like this. Move it back in. Okay. This looks like a character from The Simpsons, actually, or something like that. So again, Control, move in there. Rotate. I don't know, I'm guessing here stuff, so I'm not doing anything in particular. I just want you, remember I'm not doing the design guide as in 100% because I can't, you know. So I got all the things going so I can focus on other things as well. So I'm gonna press Control, move that there, and then move that in there, maybe move it. There's some here that are quite small. Control again. Okay, and rotate it. And this one I'm just going to rotate like that because I've already got it like that. Or like that. Making it smaller, not bigger. I keep going like this, you know. I just go there. Okay. And again, I'm gonna press Control, make another copy, move it in there. Rotate it. Inside here, if it works. Okay. I'm gonna make another copy. Smaller. Okay, just gonna probably give you a little bit of movement to this one, just forward. And again, I suppose if I move one of these too much, I can then just continue from there, but I'm just gonna continue with this one. So I'm gonna press Control again, drag here. Now these guys are like that, like that. I'll scale that away. And again, I'm just gonna make this one a little bit bigger. I want to. Gonna go into draw. I'm gonna press Shift to smooth it. Okay. Going to move it in a little bit. Okay. And I can go on forever like that, but I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. I cannot. Maybe I'll continue with that another point, but I just need to move on with this, guys. So. Okay, so once you have the hair done, let's say that's the hair done. So we have, gonna go back to draw, and then what we're gonna do is I'm going to check the time. It's only 22 minutes at the moment. So I'm gonna clear the mask, okay, and because I go in the move brush, I'm going into here, which is the auto masking, and it's still 100%. So I'm gonna make a little bit of changes in here. There, you want to reduce the brush size, so I can have this in here, make a better eye. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the eyelids, okay? So you can roughly see how the eyelids will work. Now, I will, just to make a note, just to let you know, guys, I will be doing a tutorial more on the actual mechanical side, but I think what we're going to do is you need to think about this as in I'm doing a character, fine, but all these concepts apply to whatever you're doing. If you're doing mechanical, if you're doing things like props and stuff like that, that works. The only thing you have to do is make sure that you use probably more profusely the clipping brushes for now. Later on I will show you a little bit more other techniques that you can use, but I need you to start putting stuff together. Again, I think I mentioned if you got one piece that is giving you a headache, you want to use it in Maya, that's fine. Use Maya, that's fine by me. So what I'm going to do the eyes, but I'm going to ignore this bit so I can show you what how can I do the eyelids, and then how can I do the separation of the mirroring the eyes to one side. So I'm going to select this guy and I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so I got that. So there's just two subtools. At the moment, you see there's a single subtool, guys. I don't want to see loads of this one here. Not yet, guys. You cannot. And if I see guys doing this, it's because you bypass all this and you're so smart and you forgot about it and you say, oh, I can figure it out. No. Follow this method, guys, because this method will be the easiest for you to learn. If you see loads of tools here, it's because you're bypassing what I'm doing. And that's definitely the one I'm going to tell you off. Look, you're just not ignoring my tutorials. Because otherwise, if you're going and doing something else because you're not following this, you should have one single sphere and then build everything on top. And then we're going to split. We're going to split the hair apart, the hands, and the body. and the head together. So that stuff there, it will happen later on, but for now I want you to focus on this for now, okay? So we're gonna split it, but not now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert the eyes. So I'm gonna do again, gonna go back to the insert brush, and I'm gonna select this one of these brushes, this one which is a little bit high res. And I'm gonna press X because, do I need symmetry? Not necessarily. Let's see, thinking about it. Do I need symmetry? No, let's give it without symmetry for now, and then I'll show you what I can do the stuff later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert one eye here. And you remember the moment that brush has the depth set up the way it was, okay? Sort of reset itself. I think it works for this one. You see, it remembers per brush. You see this one here change, and this one is to work this way. So this one is fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the side view, press Shift to snap it to the side view, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to check on the size. So I'm gonna see if it's big enough. So I'm gonna perhaps scale it up a little bit. Okay, obviously the eyes are not, I don't want it to be too big. You don't have to have the eyes 100%, like the one I'm gonna tell you, like the one that has to be like aligned 100%. So don't worry about that for now. So in terms of the geometry, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move him. I'm just gonna move him in this axis. Okay. Or let me undo that. I'm gonna move it in this axis here, which is the screen axis. Okay, and I'm just gonna put it somewhere there. Okay. I'm gonna check how it is in here. I'm just gonna move it in. Okay, somewhere there. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move it down. Let's say that's what you want. Okay. Now let's do the eyelids. Now, how are we gonna do the eyelids? Maybe you need a little bit more work in here in terms of reshaping this a little bit better, but we're gonna bypass that for now. And this is how we're gonna do it. Okay. We have this here, which is a single copy. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to I'm trying to think now. Actually, it would be better to have symmetry. Let's do that again. I'm going to undo this. Won't take us long, guys. Okay. Let's switch on symmetry for now. Okay. So I'm gonna press X. So now I have symmetry, and then I'm gonna do is I'm going to insert. No, that's the whole thing. I'm going to insert a sphere. No, undo that. So I'm gonna go here into draw, and I'm going to insert a sphere. Okay, and I got symmetry on. Yes, I got symmetry on. So I'm gonna press here, and then I draw an eye. Okay, or what I think it's an eye. So I'm gonna do press Shift to snap it to the side view. Make sure you don't have perspective, so you get everything flat. And you hit move, and I'm gonna move it in the screen space. Move it there, and then we're gonna move it in screen space in like this. Okay, something like that. Doesn't seem to have symmetry. Oh, I know what happened. This guy I manipulated without the symmetry. We're gonna have to fix that. Shall I just move it back? I think I did that afterward. Let's see if I can go backwise. 1 second. Let me see if I can go somewhere here. Yeah. Oops, no, that's too far on. I think it's here. And yeah, oops. Cancel. Yeah, I think it's here, but I clear it. And I think there I still have the symmetry, I think. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I can fix that later on. That's not a problem. Anyways, let's start from here. I'm going to go into, again, insert the sphere, and I'm just going to insert the sphere here. Okay. That sort of is a little bit more symmetrical now, I think. If it's not, then we'll fix it later. So move here. I'm just going to move it back. Okay. Then we're just going to move it in. No, not that way. That way with a screen space like this. Okay. And then I'm going to make this smaller. Like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate this and then start doing the eyelids. This is an easy way of doing it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the eyes to create the actual eyelids. Okay, so I got that. Okay, so this is quite symmetrical, but don't worry, we fix that later. It's a little bit not 100%, but at the end of the day, the eyes is only for just a reference here. So, okay, this is how you should do it. I'm gonna take this that is unmask, okay, and then I'm gonna do is I'm going to make a copy of that, a duplicate. So I'm gonna go into move. You remember that you know what to do with move. You just press Control, click and drag outside. You see, and you have something that you see. You can see there's something on top of each other there. Okay, the other one under there is already being masked, but there's something that I make a copy by pressing Control and move him. You make a copy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, okay, and then I'm going to do the clipping thing that I told you before. So I'm gonna go here into Draw. I'm gonna press Control Shift, and I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna go into the clipping curve. Okay, I'm gonna press Control Shift again. You see I'm in clipping mode, and I'm just gonna draw. That's the wrong way of drawing it, because just remember, if I draw here, whatever is on the top is going to be collapsing down, okay? And that's not what we want the opposite. So if you do that, we have to draw it from the opposite, from the bottom to the top. So you press Control Shift, and then you do that. If you're not happy what it was, you can just press Spacebar and then move things around, okay? And you get an eyelid there, roughly, okay? Let's see, let's do that again. I'm gonna press Shift to snap it to the view, Control Shift, and I'm just gonna do that for now. Okay, you can see there's an eyelid there. Okay, it's very subtle. You can see that it's very small there. If we want, we can just go into the move brush and then move it out a little bit if we want to. Okay, move it there a little bit if we want to, and we can probably make a little bit more room later on because there's not enough room there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take, I can literally take this, rotate if I want and put it at the bottom, or I can just make a copy of the other one as well. So what I have to do is invert the mask, okay? So which one will be easier to do? Let me think. I'm going to make a copy of this and see if I can figure it out from here. I'm going to go into move, and I'm going to press Control, and I'm just going to make a copy of this, like that. You see I make a copy of the eyelid, and then let's see what happens if I rotate it like that. I could perhaps do this, and then yeah, you might be able to get away with it if you can, but if not, it's a bit tricky. So I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna undo that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a copy of the eye again. I can do that. Let's try it. Let's prepare it. This is really a good practice for you. So again, I'm gonna press Shift to snap there. I'm gonna press Control, click to clear the mask. I'm gonna press Control Shift, because we're in clipping mode. Let's click here and then go back to select, because we're gonna do selections. Press Control Shift. I'm gonna click on the eye. It gives me this. I want this to be separate, so I can have thing with two different colors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into polygroups, and I'm telling, hey, create every single one of these with a polygroup. I can just probably move this guy a little bit. I can't, because it's the same polygroup. So I'm gonna say group auto group, and it identifies that every single one of these meshes are separate, so it gives you a color, a group, so I can be able to select them. So I'm gonna press Control Shift, okay, and then click here and here, okay, and then I'm gonna polygroup this one with a color, and it says this one group visible, so it gives you one color. So I'm gonna press Control Shift, click here to bring everything up. You can see now this guy got a color, so I can press now Control Shift, click on there. I'm gonna press Control to mask it. I'm gonna press Control Shift click to bring everything up, and now I'm gonna press Control. I'm gonna press Control, click, and then I invert the mask. So now I'll be able to make a copy of this. Okay. And then if you feel free, just feel free. If you feel confused, just go and then go through this again, and you will be alright. Okay. So I'm gonna do again move with this one here, and I'm just gonna press Control. And I'm just gonna click here, for example, and I'm just gonna make a copy, just a little bit down there, just to make it on top. I know there is a copy, the one under there is already being hidden. So I'm gonna go here into Draw. I'm gonna press Control Shift. I'm gonna move back to the clipping brush, and now I'm gonna draw a line here. So I can draw here, and you can see now I have the bottom eyelid. Okay. So if you think that this is not working, then let's go and see if we can improve this a little bit here in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control click and drag to clear the mask. I'm going to go into reduce the brush size. Okay. I'm gonna go with the move selected. I'm gonna go into auto masking, and I go 100%, so it should be working with it. So I click here on the yellow thing. Okay, and then here the yellow bit. Ideally, I can just, if you want to be more specific again, so you can just do is press Control Shift. Let's go back to selection. Control Shift, click on the head. On the head. That's what I mean. The head. Oops, that's weird. I'm gonna press Control Shift, click and drag everything again. So I'm gonna press Control Shift, click on the head, and that's the only one available. I'm gonna mask it by pressing Control Click. I'm gonna press Control Shift, click to bring everything else, and I'm gonna press Control Click to invert the mask. And now I have this one deselected, so I don't need this one for now. If I want to, just leave it on if you want. And again, I'm gonna increase the brush size, make sure I have symmetry, and then I'm just gonna move this stuff inside a little bit. Oops, you just respect that, even though when I'm masking it respects it. So let's do that. And you go a little bit more room in there if you want to. Okay. So the eyes that are be there, probably we can do with the eyes moving it now a little bit. So how do we do that? Again, you press Control Shift. I'm just gonna Control Shift, clear the mask. I'm gonna press Control Shift. I'm gonna click on the eyebrow. I'm gonna hit this eyebrow. I'm gonna hit this one on scale as well. I'm gonna press Control Shift click to invert that. So now I have the eyes. So I'm gonna press Control to mask them. Control Shift to bring everything else. Control click to invert the mask. And now I have these guys available. And then I can probably go here into move, and then move them out a little bit, like this. Okay, I can see if I can rotate them. Okay, maybe it's too much. Okay. Maybe scale them down a little bit, too big perhaps. Okay. Okay, moving forward perhaps. Okay. That perhaps. Okay. You can, like I said at the beginning, you can just go and work on. Oops, no, I just redo that. Okay. So you can see here, this is what it's looking like. Just getting there, I suppose. No, 100%, but we will get there, guys. Okay. Again, if you want, you can just shape things out a little bit. So here, let's put the polygroup so we don't interfere with the eyes. So we actually only do the eyelids. So we can just move this. You see, as long as I click on one, then the other ones are respected. This one is not respected because they share the same color. You see, that's interesting. Just Control Shift click here, and then we tell auto group, so we recognize these ones. Press Control Shift in there and in there, and then we can actually make this one share the same color. Group visible. Control Shift click. Now when I click here, you see I only affect those there. Okay, let's do that one in there. Open this one like that a little bit. Okay. Now this, not liking this thing in the middle here. We should have worked a little bit longer on that. How can we fix that? Again, Control click and drag to clear the mask. Control Shift click on this. Control click mask. Control Shift click, bring everything. Control click invert the mask. And now I have the ability to move this guys inside. And it does respect this, so it's still, even with the mask, respect that. So okay, let's do that. That's one bit. I think we can probably do the opposite. I'm gonna do that. Does everything again, same principle. It's good practice. Let me clear the mask. Control click here. Sorry, Control Shift click there to highlight, to just show that. Control click here to mask it. Control Shift to bring everything else. Control click to invert the mask, and then we have this guy available. And now we're gonna move this guy in a little bit more there. I think it should be there. And I think I'm gonna reuse the brush side and then bring this to that a little bit there. Let's say that that's what we want. It's not 100% there. It's still not happy with the location of those eyes, but we can fix it later. I'm gonna leave that for now, and then I'll close, and then the eyes we're gonna probably replace them later on. And you see there's a little bit of symmetry mismatch there, but don't worry about that for now. We are in very early stages. So you can see when you get rid of this, and you press Control and drag, you can see the landmarks are there, you know, the landmark for the character, you see. Very simple, but at the moment we're just starting, so it's nothing major. So I have the shape here, I have the arms. Now, the next step for these guys is once you have the block out, even if you're doing mechanical stuff, don't worry, we can put this mechanical stuff later on, but I want you to block out things as soon as possible. We're in week 4 now, guys. So what we have to do now is we have to actually break them down in 3 parts. So what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to forget about the mouse. The mouse we can just do it later on, it's not a problem. The mouse is something that you will have to sculpt, and then that's when we're going to start playing around with the brushes a bit more. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to identify how we're going to split the character, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video now, and then I'll continue with another one, with the next one, which I'm going to do is split it up, have it ready for you guys, and then we're going to talk a little bit about set remeshing, okay? And then it's going to be the workflow for you from now on, Dynamesh, which is creating new geometry, okay? And that is a method that you use to make everything look together, and then you build it from there, okay? Because at the moment, everything is separate, you see? Everything is separate. So this geometry is separate from there. You can see there is some sort of joint connection in there. And you're going to continue working like that. You have to move on to the next step, which is consolidate all the geometry. What we're going to do then, we're going to split the head in one subtool here, the rest of the body in another subtool, the hands in another subtool. Then at the end, you have the ability to connect them all together. And perhaps I'm going to leave the hair as well in another subtool. Okay? So, but for now, I'm going to stop this now. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll come back with the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.